before. Raise your hands if you have never been to an integral church circle before. Okay, great. There's a few of you. So what I want to read is this. Welcome to Integral Church. We are an interfaith circle composed of people of different beliefs, different traditions, and paths. We are atheist, Buddhist, Catholic, Sufi, Baha'i, Jew, Muslim, Taoist. We're New Age mystics and universalists. We are all born into or enter through the front door of some belief system, a view of the world, a cosmology, and we all exit through the back door into a lush shared garden courtyard of interfaith dialogue and deep religious pluralism. Our circle is interspiritual. We have different practices, prayers, songs, sacred texts, and ways of making meaning. And we enjoy trying these practices on to see how they feel and to see if they work. We are willing participants in the experiment of understanding spirit as a force or a presence, and spirituality as an attitude and as a line of development. Our circle is integral. We include everyone's values, everyone's politics, everyone's ways of being and doing, and the entire spectrum of consciousness, from that self-preserving ego to the self-annihilating emptiness of the void. And all are welcome. Because in the spirit of deep religious pluralism, we gather not to put our differences aside, but so that we might fit together as complementary perspectives, pieces in the cosmic jigsaw, some of us firm and angular, and some of us soft and weathered, and all of us committed to doing skillful and compassionate work. We are also, until this very moment, a wild church. That means that we have historically turned to nature and to one another to provide connection and community. Nature has been our doorway to the divine encounter, without any aid of altar or temple or building or facility. And so it is here that we find our unique challenge today. Remaining rooted and grounded and present in that very real and natural and biological connection, while also transcending it, reaching out into a higher, broader, energetic, and more virtual space. We are moving from, I believe, what Hildegard of Bingen called viriditas, that verdant greening power, to what Teilhard de Chardin called the technosphere, that layer of man-made energy that encircles our planet. And we're also approaching, I think, as a species, what Jean Gebser called diaphaneity, that which shines through. As we gather here in this virtual space, holding fast to our unspoken and implicit connection, while at the same time speaking at the speed of light. The first thing I want to do before I turn it over to Alina to walk us through some stretching and some movement this morning to get grounded and to do some embodiment practice is announce that we are now officially launching into the first path. We are now launching into the via positiva. This is the first of the 4 paths in creation spirituality. Here's a little cheat sheet or a card. The first path, via positiva, is the path of wonder. It is in the awe, the wonder, the beauty, the joy, the blessing and mystery of nature and all beings, each of whom is, as Hildegard said, a mirror that glistens and glitters. It's the path of gratitude. And I'm going to put in the chat window here our first of 4 questions this morning. What are you grateful for? And you can be responding to that question in the chat as Alina, who I am now unmuting, leads us in a few minutes of stretching and body practice. Alina, take it away.
All right. Can you guys hear me okay? Yes. Awesome. All right, cool. Well, let's get into our bodies a little bit. We're going to stand up. So go ahead and stand up. Camera angles might get a little funky. That's okay. Don't worry about what you look like. No jumping jacks, sure. All right. We're going to stand up and we're going to spread the feet fairly wide apart. Just find a nice wide stance. Let me bend your knees a few times. And let's stretch those arms overhead and reach up or out if reaching up is not comfortable. And spread your fingers nice and wide apart, starting to stretch the connective tissue between the fingers. And just very gently lift one hand a little bit higher. And then the other hand goes a little bit higher. So we just find a gentle side stretch here. Side to side, spreading the fingers, opening the arms, opening the chest. Take a couple more, maybe bringing one hand to your hip and really stretching over to one side. Yeah, find that deep, full breath. And come into the other side. And gradually come back up to standing. And I encourage you holding on to a chair or the wall or whatever, but we're going to hold on to something and just grab one foot behind you and get a gentle quad stretch. So I'm just grabbing one foot behind. Definitely encourage holding on to something so you can really focus on that stretch rather than your balance. And then slowly release that leg, take the other side. So I always joke with my clients that if we stretch, it's really good for us, but if we add breathing, intentional breathing, then it becomes yoga. So take one more full breath here. And then slowly release. And we'll take our last stretch called goddess pose. We bring those toes out. So feet come wide apart, toes turn out. We bend the knees and bring the arms up like this and creating that shape of the goddess. So I'm spreading the fingers. I'm opening the palms up like lotus flowers to the sky. And maybe add a little bit of dancing to it, side to side, getting into the hips. And then keeping your knees bent, we'll just stretch the hands overhead, reach, 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 and pull the elbows down behind you. And take that 2 more times. Inhale, reach the hands overhead. Exhale, open the arms like wings behind. And last time, inhale, energy travels up. And exhale, pulling that from the sky down to the earth. And slowly straighten the legs, bring the hands together at the heart center. And hopefully you're a little bit more in your body and into your breath. Thank you guys so much. Namaste.
This is where I had asked some of you to bring a candle or two and to be prepared to hold some space this morning as we move into silence for this second path. The second path here again is the flashcard, the via negativa, the path of mystery. It says, in the beauty of darkness and nothingness, in mystery and in the silence and emptying and the letting go and the letting be, in the pain and suffering and the grieving that constitute an equally real part of our spiritual journey. The question becomes, and I'm placing it in the chat window now, what today are you willing to let go of? I'm going to ask those of you who brought candles to light them now. And we are going to spend some time in silence, just here with one another, as we're responding to that question and listening for what arises in that silence. The third path is the via creativa. This is the path of creativity. This is, it says in our generativity, we co-create with spirit, with God. We trust our images, our poems, paintings, our inventions, all of our ideas for peace and justice making, our businesses that we are building, our creative parenting, etc., all of it as divine inspiration. And we courageously birth them into existence. The third question I'm going to pose to everyone this morning is, what are you creating or giving birth to? It's there in the chat. And while you're thinking about this and answering this question, we're going to actually move into some music. I encourage you on the top of the screen, use those annotation tools to draw. Hmm. I'm just looking at all of the amazing, amazing artwork that you guys have put on top of this. This is fantastic. This is fantastic. I am going to definitely grab a screenshot of this. The fourth and final path, which is the via transformativa. Also hold this up. It says, the via transformativa is the path of justice. It is in the individual transformation made possible through practice and grace, through the relief of suffering, the combating of injustice, and the celebration that happens when persons struggling for justice and living in mutual respect come together to praise and give thanks for the gift of life. The question, what is your sacred work? What change are you committed to making in the world? I'm putting that question in the chat now. Recently, well, I guess it wasn't too recently. It was during the winter solstice. I had gone into meditation to kind of recharge because I had been leading things like the cosmic dance and leading various circles and had been doing a lot of coaching and had been doing a lot of giving and supporting, but I wasn't filling my own cup. And Jennifer, my wife, encouraged me to go into this session with a friend of ours, and I entered into meditation and had a vision of Shekinah, the divine feminine. It was a vision of like an angelic kind of Mother Mary figure with flowing robes, and the robes was the fabric of the cosmos, and they were enfolding me, and I was standing at the foot of this hill, looking up past the hill, and her in the sky and the galaxy and the nebula beyond, and she was spreading that robe open so that I could see beyond her and through her into the potential in her belly and beyond, that deep space, that those larger cosmic structures that hold everything together. And in the vision, I had the desire to climb the hill and kneel at her feet. All I wanted to do was to curl up in a ball at her feet and rest and recharge and sleep. But once I started climbing the hill, I realized that I could not, because there was fruit, dying fruit, covering the ground of the hill, spilling down from a tree that was at the top of the hill. And I couldn't get my footing, and I was slipping and sliding, and I could not get to her. I could not get to her feet. I couldn't sit. I couldn't lay down on the ground. There was so much rotted fruit. And I looked up at her and I asked, "What is this? Why can't I lay at your feet? Why can't I just lay on this hill and rest?" And in the meditation, she responded to me and said, "This is these are the lost opportunities. These are the wasted gifts that you've been squandering in the world. These are the moments that have gone by you, that you have not stepped into your full potential. You have not shared your sacred work with the world when it was asked of you. And this dying fruit on the ground is why you cannot curl up and rest at my feet." In that moment, it was all I wanted. All I wanted was to be connected to that mother, that feminine energy, was just to curl up in a fetal position and just sleep. And she reminded me that there was work to do. Ross, I'm going to start with you. What was the big takeaway for you in your breakout?
Well, different perspectives, to hear Douglas share about how fear and stress are like immunosuppressants, you know what I mean? And our role is to kind of stay out of that and, stay in the present. That was really important to me.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you. Jeremy, I want to go over to you. If you could unmute, there you go.
Well, I think, so 2 points that I think we were just talking about before the breakout room closed was that this is a great time to slow down, that our sense of time has been stretched so thin for trying to fill it so much with schedules and the pace of modern life and what are we doing with our lives. And so many of us are feeling like right now has been such a great time to feel the fullness of time, being fully present, being fully reflective on our life journey and where we are and where we want to be going. We're having all of these, it's not a question of like self-doubt, it's more of, I actually have the spaciousness of time to reflect on my own life path. And a lot of us feel that right now. What's important, what's valuable, and how can I act on what is valuable to me? We don't really have that in our culture. It's sort of highlighting how our culture has created a kind of a thin, surface level, fast kind of time. And really, this has sort of given us a sort of a fullness to navigate. So I think we are all saying we value that spaciousness now. And I don't want that to go away. That's not part of the modern lifestyle that I want to come back.
Yeah. Thank you. Carol, anything to add?
Yeah, my takeaway was that I am part of a new paradigm, that this morning, that this hour, that this technological experience this is it. And it reminded me that, when we come out of social distancing, I actually have much greater choice and responsibility to choose where my community comes from.
Nice. Thank you, Carol. Paul, I'm going to go to you. I think that was the last group. What was your big takeaway from your group?
Yeah, Kate was talking about like physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual, like these different areas coming at us. And I thought there was a kind of interesting contrast of like, in some respects empowerment, and in some respects kind of accepting, like whether it's kind of exploring music or spirituality. For me, it was kind of subtle, but also being a lot more rigorous with health, from sort of 3 positions that kind of like aren't having the dire effects personally, but then being there for other people and having this this contrast between being empowered to be able to do something in the context of this crisis, but also accepting the fact that some people are going to suffer or aren't going to make it. I guess personally, I was kind of struck with this kind of balance and being with like, what can you do and what do you have to accept, and how do you work out what the right balance is? Because it's by no means an easy question with so many factors and things going on. So yeah.
We've got enough time here with about 5 minutes left for our circle to close out with a meditation. Shulamit has offered to lead that meditation for us. And so I am going to unmute her and I turn it over to you.
Well, I thank you. And I'll ask you all to get comfortable with whatever that means to you. So it might mean sitting up a little taller in your chair. It might mean turning off your video. Perhaps you don't like to be seen while you're meditating. It might mean lying down. Whatever it means for you, get in a place where you can really where your body can really be comfortable. And we're going to take 3 really nice deep breaths. We're going to take them to a count, and I will count for you. So we're going to breathe into 4, hold your breath for 7, and breathe out for 8. And we're going to do that 3 times. So here we go. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Hold it, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Breathe out. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out with force. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And once more, in, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now, as you allow your breath to return to normal, see how your body is feeling. Feel yourself sink just a little deeper into wherever you are. When you breathe in again, take yourself to your favorite piece of peace, your favorite place of respite. It might be a real place that you've been to many times that you can now see in your mind and transport yourself there, below a tree or next to a river, or in a favorite bedroom from years ago. A place that feels safe. Might even be a brand new place that you design for yourself right now. Wherever it is, find yourself there and breathe in deeply. Feel the comfort of that place. And know that it's just as real in your mind as it is in your body. You can really be there. In this great place of safety, as you're breathing in this wonderful feeling of love and peace, move into the silence. Know that your guides and angels are with you. Ask them what you're supposed to be doing right now, in this moment of your life, in this important moment of your life. Ask for guidance, ask for instruction, and ask that angel if they'll stay with you. Move into the silence now. I'll bring us out. I invite you, if you're ready, to gather up the messages. Store them someplace safe where you can access them again. Thank your guides and angels for being with you. Ask them to remain. May each of us be blessed to know our place in this new world that we are birthing. May we know it for ourselves in a deep and meaningful way. May we bless each other with health, with love, with caring, with compassion. May we find that our path is filled with ease and grace as we connect with the divine in new and old ways. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Shulamit.
Thank you.
I just want to say again, thank you so much to everyone who's gathered here this morning in this virtual space to play with these tools and to be face-to-face with one another in this time where it is so important that we rely on the connection, the very human connection in this time when we are questioning and we are doubtful and we are afraid and we are trying to figure out what our next plan of attack is, and we are uncertain about what the next step, not only for us, or our family, or our household, or our neighborhood, or our community is. I pray for all of us who know or are in contact with someone or know someone who is suffering from this disease that is spreading. And I hope that I ask that we all keep one another in prayer and keep reaching out, keep turning toward one another in the times between these gatherings, because that's how we are going to find that momentum, that hope, and that possibility. Just sending so much love to everyone today. And I want a show of hands from someone who would do this again if we chose to do this on another Sunday in the future. Okay, good. I'm feeling a consensus building. That's great. What I'm going to do now is we're going to close with our closing integral dedication. I'm going to unmute everyone, and I'm going to ask that you repeat after me. Okay? May my consciousness and my behavior
May my consciousness and my behavior
be of benefit to all beings in all places.
be of
be of
benefit
benefit
to all
to
beings.
beings in all places,
All places.
Liberating all into the spirit
liberating
all
into the spirit
of this and every moment.
Of
of
this
of this and every moment.
Moment.
Amen. Namaste.
Amen.
Namaste.
Oh,
Namaste.
and
so
I'm going
it
to leave
is.
everyone unmuted. I know some of you will have to leave right away. I'm just going to pretend we all spilled out into the lobby, or we're all going to hang out. I'm just going to leave everyone unmuted for a while and just hang out. I'm going to step away for a minute and then come back later. Thanks again, everybody.
See you all
Thank
later.
you.
Thank you.
It was
Thank
nice to
you,
be with all of
everyone.
you. Take good care.
Good luck.
Guys,
Be
Thank
safe.
you.
Be safe. Yes, please be safe.
Loving,
Stay home.
peace, calm.
So much love. Thank you.
See you again.
Thank you, Ross.
Thank you.